We're back with another week of PUBG Europe Contenders. As always, you've got myself, James Banks, joined by the wonderful Mr. Cormac, aka Imperium, to take you through all of the action. And when I talk about action, last week showed us a different style of action. Some teams slowed right down, Cormac, right? Beyond what we'd seen in the group stages, to a point where it's had us just a little bit concerned about where they might be going. Still got time to recover. Some other teams, though, they continued the momentum they had and continued to run with it the whole way through. And can they continue to do it this week? PGA team being one of them.
Man, PGA really been so consistent with their daily performances, scoring consistent results. They've only had like one win on the board, but they're still showing themselves on top of the table.
Oh, yes.
In first place. Airstation Mike, they had a bit of a tough last day, but they're lying in second overall, followed by 3D Max and Milky Way.
And this is the thing, right? When we're talking about some teams that looked really good, some teams that have continued the momentum, PGA team, Airstation Mike, and honestly, ELGIGANTEN can be in there as well, right? From Group B, they were all looking really strong. 3D Max certainly didn't slow down. Milky Way, all things considered, they had that great first game, but they've continued it going. But it's for these people like Tornado, Northern Lights, Tempest.
We expected them to be fighting for the top three. Nothing against Airstation Mike, PGA, and 3D Max, of course. But we expected at least Northern Lights and Tornado Energy to be up there on top of the table. And this is where you see the breakdown of placement points and kill points. What I do like is when you look at like ELGIGANTEN, they had a fantastic last day on a side note, and they've been the kings of Sandhawk.
Yeah.
Out of their 105 points in total, 60 of them have been on Sandhawk alone. Over 50% of their points have been on one map, which is crazy. And then you see the fact that they've doubled the kill points as they do placement points.
And this is the thing, right? We're looking at a lot of these teams, and for someone like Airstation Mike, they're on a good balance here. But so many teams now are going more kill heavy. We've seen teams go out recently in 12th, 13th, 14th place and still walk away with 4+ kills. And I'm like, I didn't even think. And they're jumping up and sitting within top 8 of that individual match, which before wasn't happening. We were certainly looking at a heavier place point style. So it's got very interesting. But some of the teams we have to point out to, Unity, they had a moment last week where they started to look better. And they went from 16th or 15th to like 12th place. Now they've come back down. Problem for me with Unity is, yes, they changed the player. Yes, they've now had time to get involved and do it. But for me, their consistency is so bad. They'll fight early on. They like to take the challenges. They got aggressive. They were getting more kill points, and that's why you can see 46 kill points compared to the 19 placement points. But even when they were getting kills and doing well, they were just fighting far too long. They were never actually getting themselves deep enough for us to say, oh, yeah, they've got an opportunity here to do well and keep this going, to break yourself out of this rut. Because them and BetterLuckNxTime, we've seen them win games. We've seen them play very good PUBG. But then all of a sudden, they just think, oh, we've forgotten how to do it. Or they just get really like, for me, I can see some teams and go, you're not consistent, this was a bad circle, or this was a rough rotation, I can break it down. But for Unity and BetterLuckNxTime, I'm sorry, lads, but you're missing something here, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my mark on it.
From kind of looking at, and it's nothing against you guys, I'm no expert, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a lack of preparation. One thing I've noticed about BetterLuckNxTime is that they seem a bit unprepared when it comes to the early circles. I don't think it's quite the same with Unity, but more so with BetterLuckNxTime. They seem a little bit unprepared when it comes to the first couple of rotations, where they don't necessarily know what they want to do, and they don't necessarily know where they want to go within the circle, and they might be slow to respond. That affects their late game, or they might go out earlier than they expect.
And I think you pointed out on Miramar one time is that they went for a rotation, but it was like a delayed rotation and communication, because they were like, we'll go this way, and then all of a sudden back turned and went a different way, and we're like, okay, you're not dying from it, but you've wasted a lot of time. Other teams could have got spots, and clearly you've not made a group decision on you're doing this. And that's where I came back and said about the in-game leadership. Follow the in-game leader no matter what. Discuss it after the game. Don't be arguing mid-game. Don't make communication more difficult, right? Give this one guy the authority to make a decision, help them push forward and say, yes, he's our in-game leader. We're doing what he's expecting, what he's wanting us to do, so we get the results that we're hoping to. And if it doesn't, then we come together as a team. And this is the beauty about this weekend after this first week. They've now had all this time. They didn't have to play games for 3 days. Obviously, they were at practice. Yes, they played games. But they didn't have to play PUBG Europe Contenders games on a competitive level. I want to have seen teams that have made good demo reviews, they've made strides forward, they've looked at issues they were having, and they've tried to work on some fixes in a small amount of time, but it can be done. And if they're taking it seriously, if they want to do better this week, then that needs to show.
Definitely. And one team that I've felt that from has been Airstation Mike.
Yeah.
And that comes down to, personally, I've talked to ToWzErA, their in-game leader, and he's actually given me some insight in how the team kind of thinks. They have lots of information on the other teams, how they rotate. He didn't provide too much because
I'd love to have asked him how he felt after them few rough spaces, you know.
Of course, but he just gave me insight in terms of the fact that they rotate super quickly. He showed me screenshots of where they look back on the VODs and show me bits of information, and it's just that kind of next level kind of insight that makes me think that them as a team, they're kind of more PEL ready than most of the other teams in this final stage.
Yeah, obviously, and we can only say that because we haven't spoke to every team. We can only say it based on what we're seeing. But I think that's a key point. If any of these teams look and listen to this and then say, oh, that's interesting, Airstation might go into this much level, then you should be thinking, oh, wait a second, if they're doing it, well, we should be doing it as well, because you have to be the hardest worker in the room. You have to be the hardest worker in the server. You need to be the one putting that extra effort in. If you're serious about it, if you just want to sit in Contenders and you want to just play tournaments and have fun, yeah, okay, fair enough. But if you want to get to PEL, which is what Contenders is all about, getting to the big pro league, going up against some of the best teams within the region, and saying that you're here for a damn good reason, then you need to put in that effort. You need to put that time
100%. And it's great to be able to, individually as a player, even as a team in some way, be able to frag out and get the kills. Most notably, I look at Jokers, who, even though they play as a team, they do play individually, and they're aggressive and they can put in those shots. But if you're not kind of thinking 2-3 steps ahead, if you're not putting in the strategical work to get the knowledge on the teams around you, so you can not only push them away and put them into a compromising position, but you're putting yourself into a better position, you're going to falter.
And I think that's a really good point, because Jokers not had the worst time, but not had the best time, right? But you have two players that can be game changers, both Moon and Daboom. And it is just you constantly saying them names whenever we see Jokers, is because we've seen it. Moon, 1v3s, 1v4s, just on his own, just wrecking faces all day long. Him and Daboom just in a two-man, still taking down full squads. They are very skilled individual players. And what's worse for me is that they work so many times that you might just say, well, we're not going to change it. It's like, no. You can still make an improvement on this. Like, you can still make this work. And I think that's going to be very interesting for these guys going into this week, because, yes, you can be great individual, but if more teams put time in preparation-wise than you have, then they'll quickly realize, oh, okay, well, cool, this is how they play. They like to maybe flank a player more often than not. They maybe like to split up more, like we've seen from Jokers. And then they'll go, well, this is how we deal with it.
Now, I do think Jokers and a good few other teams have evolved in terms of, I've seen Jokers do more kind of two and two drops, or they'll do 2 and 2 within the circles and have that kind of extra level of thinking, and that has worked out, and it's provided them good results. But there is that kind of next step up where you have to just really get to that stage. And then kind of talking about getting to the next stage, in this phase we've seen Sanhok being played out, and we've seen Sanhok being utilised, and I talked about ELGIGANTEN, and I did kind of did some score results, and if Sanhok hadn't been played, instead of ELGIGANTEN being in a position where they are, which is 6th, they'd be 14th overall. And Tornado Energy, instead of being in 11th, they would be in 4th.
Damn.
So it shows you the effect of this new map, where teams have just kind of grabbed hold of it a bit more, where some teams have actually failed to really pick it up. And even with the overall score results of the amount of games that have been played, Miramar and Erangel, the teams have kind of fairly... the top 3 scores of like 57 to 50 points. You see 3 teams around there. In Sanhok, you've got 60 points at ELGIGANTEN. The closest behind has been 41 points. So there's a bigger difference in Sanhok compared to the other 2 maps.
And when we're talking about Sanhok, we've got to talk about MOOPHEUS, because we spoke about MOOPHEUS coming from Group B, winning so many Sanhok games over and over again. They were looking really solid. Yeah. But what happened to them in the end? They just failed to actually learn to fight properly, because they were able to take duels, they were able to take battles. But what happened was, ELGIGANTEN, who was in the same group as them, went, we've seen this many times. You're doing it again, and we're going to make you pay the price for it. Now, MOOPHEUS are a more than capable team. They've looked very good in multiple games. But I want to see them come back and say, no, look, you may have figured us out once, but we've got more than just a couple of tricks in our sleeves. We can actually turn this around. We can be a better team.
Of course, and there's so much potential from all these teams. It's just a little thing. Sometimes it's a bit of luck, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's just whether it's just the circle shifting in not your direction, although you can say that comes down to a bit of extra preparation, having the extra plans in motion where you go, okay. But there is still a bit of luck involved. And some of these teams have got to kind of have reset themselves from the last week and go, okay, those are the first 4 days of the final stage over and done with. We haven't kicked into gear the way we would like to. Let's reset ourselves, go into Monday, pull the punches, get those strong results, and show every other team that we are not to be messed with.
And that's what it's all about. And there's one thing that there are certain teams within this lobby that have no fear. Like, we've seen it time and time again. They will just charge forward and they'll happily go in some of these battles, even battles that they're probably going to struggle with more so than often, but they've got that confidence with it. And that's Northern Lights to me at the moment. Northern Lights have been getting onto it, fighting early. We've seen them. Like, there was one game last week, I think it was the last day of last week.
Yeah.
And they were picking up kills, and still didn't finish within top 10 because they had a great start, but they were already out at like 14th or 13th again. And that cannot keep happening for a team like Northern Lights.
You have to be able to balance it. Another team that have kind of done that, but they've, I think, evolved from it is InsideGames. Now, they ended the week with a fantastic result. They got a total of 50 points on the last day of games, which they needed a strong result. It's put them into 5th place overall. And they're a team that are able to frag out. They're able to get strong results.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like they haven't really matched it with the placement points. And that's what I think they've worked on a bit. But coming into this week, if they can match it a bit more, we'll definitely see them fighting for the top 3.
And I want to see if Milky Way can not just have another, I don't need to see another 29-point game. I know we loved it. It was good fun and it was amazing action. Yeah. But I mean, I would love to see how they change things around because you had such a good start. You had loads of points. You're still sat in 3rd place at the moment. You haven't, or 4th place, is it?
4th.
4th place. And it's nothing to, like, obviously that's something huge for them to be able to do. But they slowed down so much that I need to see that ramp up again. I need to see some hype. I need to see them getting, I don't know, maybe more confident with actually taking some of these fights because it's certainly changed to too much of a big degree for me.
Yeah, because they started with a 47-point day. Then they went to 31, and they ended the week with only 7 points in that last day. And that was in 5 games as well. So definitely if they can just... And I think part of it is because they have worked on their style a bit more and they've worked on their gameplay. It's just maybe they just haven't found that balance of change that they need. But either way, this is the start of the first game. Playing trajectory very much down the south from west to east. We have YMCA heading towards Primorsk, PG18 in their normal spot, and Milky Way down in South George.
Now, Jokers have gone Zaki. They're normally our Severny team. This will be quite an interesting one, though, because they can get the vehicle and still go Severny if they want to.
Exactly.
But they're probably just going to wait for the circle to pop because you never know. When you get a plane this rough, that circle could be going anywhere. Now, even your team's hoping to get to Yasnaya, anyone trying to move over to more towards Mansion and Lipovka, they've got a job on their hands to get across this time around. And, oh, we're getting a military just to kick things off with. Happy Monday, people. It may be a negative for some, but if you're loving PUBG, you'll be loving this game. And I honestly cannot wait to see how this goes down.
Is this another team?
Oh my God, I didn't even know.
Yeah,
oh, what?
I know Northern Lights have dropped the military.
So phase 2. We're on phase 3 now. Phase 2, Northern Lights used to drop military.
Yes.
This is huge. The first time Northern Lights dropped military, we get a military circle, and Unity get bullied and have to go over to Novo.
Yep.
They didn't even try hold on to it.
Nope.
What?
That's very, very interesting. Another aspect of the game, which I kind of got from talking to ToWzErA of Airstation Mike once again, such a nice guy, being so kind of informative, which should give him a bit more insight, is knowing the vehicle spawns. And I know from their point of view, they've been able to actually punish BetterLuckNxTime by landing... being far more aware of the vehicle spawns and taking the vehicles away from BetterLuckNxTime, which gives them not only obviously more advantage in terms of the vehicles, but it takes away a small bit of the strength of where BetterLuckNxTime drop normally, and it means that they can rotate quicker than them straight away.
Man, okay, what I really want to see is, yes, this plane was like this, but on all the future Erangel games, are Northern Lights going to balls play it and just jump down and say, that's mine now? Because Unity, You've had that for so long. You've been splitting it 2-2 as well, right? We've been seeing them.
Yep.
2 players drop Novo, 2 players drop military. Even though you can easily have a full squad in military. If they want to allow this to happen again, that says to Northern Lights that, okay, they're not confident. And that should never be something that should be happening this early on, right?
Definitely.
Unity, we spoke about them. They started to fight early. They were looking better. This, to me, is a worrying sign that they're just, okay, we'll sit Novo.
Time will tell, I suppose. Time will tell. It's only game 1 of Monday. Maybe they also just weren't expecting Northern Lights to drop in Military Island, so it's kind of like a bit of a surprise, and it's one of those gut reaction things of like, look, let them take it for game 1. If they do it in future games, we might look to fight them on as better luck next time. They're doing a little bit of bridge camping, trying to look for the side of team moops.
Can I just say, this is classic military game, that already we're seeing multiple teams taking crazy shots. Kissick doing a hell of a lot of damage. Can he land one more? He just needs to hit ghostar one more time and he'll be knocked. Can't get it done, and the car's going to stay alive as well, which means actually ghostar's fallen back. Okay, he's only going to heal himself up. Double's been knocked as well. Better luck next time. They're looking to pick up any of these teams early rotating. Arctic's trying to find the angle here on Double, who was obviously trying to get away, but Arctic isn't going to allow that to happen. And this is so just strong start from Better Luck Next Time to say, how many teams are going to have to come across our bridge? Hell yeah, let's get ready for it. I'd quite like Unity to camp it once they get there on their side.
That's what I was thinking. We do see Tornado Energy moving across, or at least 2 or 3 of their members straight away moving across on the east side. We're seeing these rotations come out. Obviously, YMCA will most likely get the boats on Ferry Pier and move their way across from there. That's pretty standard. I do got to give credit to Team Moops for moving across so early. In my opinion, it's a little bit earlier than I kind of expected. It's not directly working out as Hawkeye has now been knocked down, so that's going to be 2 members of Northern Lights most likely, now being taken out, leaving them down to 2. But I do got to say that they rotated quicker than I kind of expected to over the bridge.
You can see Kissick, Faultlessly, and Arctics. They're all pushing. This is a full squad here. Fate's there as well. They were looking to see if they can find that Moops player who jumped into the water. It's ghostar, who's going to find himself swimming away to safety, hopefully. But if they end up getting there faster than him, it could be a rough ride no matter what. Now, Milky Way, they're being picked apart here from ELGIG. This is a nice little setup. 2 kills very swiftly done there. MOORPHEUS and Marcelek getting the damage done.
Both of those teams did land in George Pool as well. ELGIG landed north. Milky Way landed south. Hasn't worked out for Milky Way for now, so they're just going to continue on as a 2-man team down to the circle.
And that was the first time that both ELGIG and Milky Way fought off the back of Georgia Pole, off this crazy circle, knowing they had to rotate down. But I love that from ELGIG, that you had 2 players that obviously we didn't see the beginning fight, but they were already out the vehicles taking that fight, getting the rotating players.
Shows the awareness that they have as a team, not only because they'd seen that Milky Way had landed, but if they got a quicker run down to the bridge or down towards the circle, they were able to catch Milky Way out from there. Now, one thing that did help Airstation Mike was the fact that Better Luck Next Time were able to bridge camp teams roll in, because they actually started going in from the boats. And initially, Jazza was in on the boat on his own, and the rest of Airstation Mike were actually able to support him by popping shots towards Fate. We did say you couldn't see that a couple of minutes ago. That then allowed Fate backed off and allowed the rest of Airstation Mike to move their way across from the water, providing a very safe rotation into the island.
Surprisingly enough, there's been a lot of safe rotations for many of these teams, though. The bridge camp isn't too strong. The Nuttips coming from Novo being sprayed down by the Tornado player. Snoopy did provide some cover fire there. You saw it do some damage towards Example. Example does have to be careful. He's close to his teammates, but not close enough that they'd be able to instantly save him. Did he go down?
What I do wonder is kind of touching upon what we had seen in PEL. I believe it was in week 1 or week 2 that we'd seen TSM make use of the new ledge grabbing technique, and they got onto one of the higher buildings of Military Island and were able to finish the game out from that play. Will we see one of these teams utilize that kind of move in this game? It would be nice to see it. But obviously, time will tell as you get through these circles. The teams are rotating in. The only team that has not got into circle is 3D Max, and they landed in around Yazline. Oh, sorry, and Jokers, my apologies. And actually, ELGIG, sorry. More than I thought.
I'm just pointing away from you, mate, don't worry.
Pointed left, right, and center. But 3D Max are definitely the furthest away.
This is what I want to see from Tempest, though. Get on that bridge, watch them come down, and pick them apart. Damage being done. No one's been knocked on the Tempest side just yet. And that is nearly a full squad wipe. Where is that last crew player? It's Rip, and he's running away. He's going backwards. He's getting the hell out of there.
And he might get pinched by 3D Max, because 3D Max are making the wise choice of heading towards the boats as opposed to the actual bridge and past Milda. What I would actually recommend they doing is 3D Max actually wait for phase 2 to expose itself. Phase 1, blue, take damage. It's really not much. It's minimal. It might be worthwhile to see where this phase 2 shifts and make a play from there.
Yeah, I'm fully behind that as well, because sometimes you don't need to fully commit, right? Yeah. Jokers right now, they've got to Primorsk and realize there's no boats for them to grab. They're taking some shots at ELGIGANTEN. Quick math, like we were mentioning earlier, they're just going to stick on this northern side. They don't feel the need to cross just yet. They know it's chaos if you get over to that island.
It is. And that's the thing, right? Like, we're seeing a good, like, call it like 13 teams in the military island as it shifts down south. Still about a good 40% of it is the water of the south side. And YMCA, they hold on to a very strong position.
Yeah, they're not going to be complaining at all. They're almost central to it. We spoke about YMCA as a joke of how often they like to sit on the coastline. Well, the coastline's working out for them this time. So we're going to join into Unity going up against some of the Tornado players, but it's just going to be the Tornado players running away. They're not willing to take these fights just yet, despite the amount of bullets coming out towards them. And everyone is heading down towards this center area. YMCA, they've occupied it for some time, but soon they're going to be joined up by multiple teams. QuickMath going to try and find their way now across the bridge alongside 3D Max. And the good thing is now, where so many teams have just sent it for the center, they're trying to get a better spot. It is allowing the teams that were a bit more patient and waited it out to finally get across without taking casualties.
Exactly. That's why I always thought it was better off waiting. Obviously, I didn't know it was going to head as far down south of Military Island as it did for phase 2, but it's just that waiting that can pay off for the teams that are not in the Military Island for now. That is QuickMath, 3D Max, and Jokers.
ELGIGANTEN have gone for the longest boat rotation ever. They've gone all the way down, right? They were started in South George, went around the sides, drove down to Primorsk, grabbed themselves the boat, got all 4 players in the same boat, and just so they don't get shot at from the island itself and blown to smithereens, they are going on the longest southern rotation down. Here we go, you can see them. They are miles away, but they're taking their time and they're playing the long game here.
It's hurt them though, right? Because of the phase 2 shift, all these teams are now down south. In my opinion, it would be wiser for them to actually head towards the west side of this island and get into the island from there. It might be outside the circle, but because of all these teams have now spread out a bit more towards the island area, it's going to be harder for them to find a safe compound inside the circle without losing 1, 2, 3 members coming off that boat, possibly even the full squad.
Yeah, because all I'm saying is the 3 players on the boat that can shoot, they're going to have to hit some mad shots if they want to try challenges coming onto the coastline. But you never know, they could just jump onto one of these islands, right? They could find themselves on one that is still in the circle. They could sit and chill and wait for a bit and just watch the fights go down and then jump in towards the end.
I'm down for that. And now we do see QuickMath there making their way through from the east bridge. We see Jokers making their way across from the west bridge in the next 30 seconds. Of course, guys, you can check out the dedicated map stream yourself if you do want to by typing in !map in chat, and a link will pop up. I'd always recommend having it in a separate tab for you just to see how these teams are rotating in these phases, especially when it comes to Military Island, because it proves to be very, very interesting.
Well, Tempers may have started off with those kills on the rotation. MOOPHEUS finally do go down. OK Bro is going to get the kill onto Kadorum. He was a solo player, just trying to hope he could stay alive. The rest of MOOPHEUS died within the first few minutes of the game. Now, Northern Lights may have got that first kill, but they have to be so careful now because, yes, you're hiding behind the burnt-out plane on the ground, but many players are looking towards your direction now you've taken those first initial shots. And when this new circle pops, oh, okay, this isn't too bad at all. So it's gone up to the north. It's now excluded pretty much all of the water within it. ELGIG have made their way on. 3D Max have come in from the eastern side. They might actually find Last Crew's Rip on his own, which would be less than ideal for him. Better luck next time. They grab the compound, but it's now been excluded. And this is where it's going to be a lot of open fights, and we're going to see many teams struggle to really hold on to it. The team that's probably benefited the most from all of this is QuickMath. They only are just getting out of the blue, and they're now going to have most of the northern side of the circle completely to themselves.
Oh, if they spread themselves out quite nicely across this north high ground, not only will they be able to push teams away, but they're possibly going to be able to get a lot of kills along the way. As Jazza does connect onto OK Pro, gets a knockdown, but Perfectix returns fire, taking a fake in the meantime, but a grenade comes through. It's actually a delayed grenade from fake to knock down Perfectix.
That was awkward from both sides there. Airstation Mike playing the runaway, while Northern Lights are trying to push up on it. One kill does come in to try and even up the numbers a bit more. OK Bro's still crawling away on the floor. He's got smoke to cover him up. But the rest of the Northern Lights players have now joined into the action. But there's also shots coming from up high on the eastern side from Tempest, and Unity are just hiding away in one of the bunkers.
It's a good position for Uni. They can avoid a lot of the action, then just peek, shoot, peek, shoot. They don't have to worry about it because they're in a It's a nice shot as Northern Lights do get eliminated in 15th place. Airstation Mike, they couldn't really move from their position. So good play for them to take that fight.
That was a 3 versus 4, and then the first player went down was an Airstation Mike player, so it came 2 versus 4, and they have still managed to win that one out. Again, Northern Lights fighting early. They had control. They were the military base team, not the Novo team, Unity. They were the actual military base, and they've already gone down.
Zubika does connect onto the boom. That's going to be a knockdown coming out. His Joker is just getting too close to the circle on the west side, northwest side of the circle, and find themselves being knocked out and one member taken down.
It is not a joke from PG-18. Every game, they're getting down and getting involved. Now, 3D Max went on a real far rotation. They were coming across on the boats. They started on the eastern side, and they looked like they stopped. Then they seem to have got back in it and come down all the way to the southern side and run into ELGIGANTEN. Now, we were worried about ELGIG being picked off by a team. They probably never expected 3D Max to be so late to the party.
I got to say, that was a bit of a call mistake coming out from 3D Max, because common sense would have told you with that phase 2 shifting so far down south that a lot of these teams would have occupied that coastal line area. And I kind of wasn't expecting 3D Max to do that, but either way, they still have one member up, that is Noki.
Can Noki solo it up for some success within it? There's still 13 teams and 43 players still alive. The next circle, when that comes in, is going to be quite an interesting one. Oh, we're going to stay central. Okay, so this actually still includes some of the military base, which gives us options for teams to hide away. A lot of open areas to fight from. Not many compounds, like direct compounds players to hide behind. All these teams down in the south are going to be grouping up, and when they come out, they're going to be on the wall line, right? So they're going to be on the wall line and having to cross an open road. It is going to get dicey. And Noki, he's right on the edge. He's just jumping up and down a little bit. That was my best impression of whatever the hell his body was doing just then.
It just sounded like one of those, you know, like galloping horses. And
oh God,
Tornado Energy. They can obviously kind of camp the edge of the circle because you have YMCA and ELGIGANTEN making their way through. And they could do that as a full squad, but in a long-term thinking, I reckon it's wise for them to push in and make their way across.
Easy jumps out. Yeah. I thought it was stolen away. Artix isn't going to complain about that because it's still his teammate. But PG-18, losing that player then, just off of rotation from the vehicle. It may have given Requent some information, but is it going to be enough for him to try and even up the numbers? Yubica actually finds ToWzErA here, so PG-18 are fighting on all sides. That's a big pickup for Requent. Faultlessly had no idea where that was coming from. And he'll straight away get finished.
ToWzErA caught napping in my eyes, because you would have heard that vehicle pull through. But either way, Milky Way and BetterLuckNxTime now going at it. It just really surprises that, to be honest, but great play by Ubica.
Jazza's the only one still alive for Airstation Mike. Requent under pressure, and now actually it's just Ubica and Requent still within this. The BetterLuckNxTime players have had a field day of kills when it's come to the military base. Can they continue to keep this up? They get the kill onto Requent, and they're not going to be done anytime soon.
Well, they are on the west side. They have to push their way past Milky Way to even get into the circle for now, James. So now we're seeing these teams pushing on through. QuickMath still find themselves in a very nice, ideal, high ground north side area of this military base. There's playing rather passive on this north side. Not even all members are inside the circle yet. They're just letting the teams around them take each other out and see where this phase 5 will shift. Will it stay up north or will it go down south as Bookie connects into Zampeek?
Now Giga trying to get involved in it as well. They'll steal away 1 kill. seniks is down there at the same time. Been spotted out by KnorkiS, but KnorkiS overextending a bit. Pixel able to tap away at him quite aggressively there. BetterLuckNxTime go down. It's a Nuctif to find himself 2 straight kills. Noki, the last 3D Max player, he's under pressure from Sakura. He's just hiding away. He'll just die out as well. More teams falling. Turbo Banana hasn't kind of realized he's actually gone down. He's wasting a bit of utility on him. And at phase 4, it's not really damage these teams want to be taking.
Now, it was Unity that actually got the better of BetterLuckNxTime. If you look on the map, like Unity are in a 2-2 split. We saw them in those what do you call them? The air things. But either way, YMCA find ELGIGANTEN.
Well, that was really nicely done. They were exchanging shots, but YMCA were connecting all of theirs. They're even going to be able to get the revive in, which is going to keep them in a healthy condition here. And they're one of the few teams that have made it out of the south. It's only YMCA and ELGIG that were surviving from the south. They've all had to fight this uphill battle, and Morpheus is the only one that remains for ELGIG, where you still have 4 YMCA players.
Well, yeah, and the biggest winner from that, to be perfectly honest, even though they haven't, let's say, got a lot of kills, was Tornado Energy, because they were a team holding on to that south line when that phase 4 shifted through. And I said they could hold on to, or they could actually push on through. And they actually pushed on through. They rotated quickly as a 4-man team. And I reckon that will pay off for them down the line because they've connected onto Bookie from Tempest, and they have pretty much the center of the circle.
Morpheus just trying to keep himself going, healing up as much as possible. He doesn't want to move yet, but YMCA are looking for him. You can see Compop trying to take some pop shots and make him connect. Good that he's scouting around, though. I like this. He's making sure that no one else is going to be able to challenge him from the sides. He knows he's a slightly bit more exposed than what he'd want to be.
And they know that there was teams already in the south line that will be around that area. So just really being aware of where their position are as Compa, also trying to find Clib in that vehicle. The wheels were knocked down as Compa does get connected on and backs away.
Quick math, though, is going to help him out a bit. Clib gets knocked. And the car is burning away at the same time. Short might try and get over there to defend, but it's not meant to be. Clib goes down. Tempest still with 3 players up in it, but they're quite split up here, trying to take fights on multiple sides. Damage being done heavily to them as well. Currently, you've got YMCA Unity, Tornado, all shooting at Tempest.
Tempest are thinking, what do we do, guys? We're just trying to get in the circle. As Morpheus still staying strong as the final member of ELGIGANTEN. It's a matter of time before he's probably going to go down at the hands of who? Obviously, we'll find out as YMCA are trying to connect the shots onto him.
Now, Sambula, I know you can't connect all those shots. I'm not complaining about that. You stood still for far too long shooting Morpheus. And the player could have come around the side and just picked you off in 2 shots. Always be active. Always keep it going.
Or just kind of dive into those shots as Sambula does. Connect finally onto Morpheus and ELGIG, go down in 10th. 9 teams, 25 players alive. The teams that really have the stronghold right now is definitely Quick Math Jokers as well, Tempest and Unity.
Some of these teams, though, it's near the very end. 1 for Tempest, 1 for PGA Team, 1 for Airstation Mike. Milky Way have managed to keep 2 up for a good amount of time. But for some of these guys, it's going to be a pure waiting game because they know there's no benefit of pushing out anytime soon. Especially if you're a solo player in this, you want the other teams to be having big fights for you to then push into. Now we're really moving out towards the east of military base. Tornado are loving life. Quick Math won't be complaining, but they're probably soon going to be fighting with Jokers.
The good thing for the 2 members of Unity that are outside circles that you have 2 members that are kind of just on the edge of that circle. That gives them an area to go to, but it's going to be very tough as Kajudi does get connected to by Melman.
Oh, so much damage. And Melman's still checking back on Wookie, who actually managed to take down Compot with a knock and a straight kill. That's not what Tornado should have allowed to happen.
No. Especially considering they were popping shots in the direction of Tempest for so long, they should have been aware that there's bound to be still one member around there.
It's a lot of pop shots for now. Rotation trying to come in here from YMCA, but it's not been easy. Turbo Banani picked off, and he's going to go down as well. Easily done. He's actually stolen away, though, Inactive. Unity are kill-stealing galores right now, but the last two Milky Way players want to get involved in the fight. Melman's still trying to chase away the final Tempest player, who did have to make a move now, and is just on the edge of the circle. Not fully in just yet, but only time will tell. Quizzy's fallen, which means example, you are shooting at anyone that is just slightly moving at this point.
And those two knockdowns initially came down from Milky Way as well, and one was stolen away from Milky Way by Tornado Energy as they now turn their attention on the stroke. Honestly, Tornado Energy, they definitely straight away looking much better in this game.
Well, let's see if they can keep it up with 3 alive as Milky Way's fallen in 9th place. Aaliyah, Melman, example. 3 members up and standing for the Tornado side. 6 kills in total so far. Can they get some more? Hopefully they can bring example back up if they want to make that dream happen. And they're going to have to act fast on it as well. Wookie Bookie finally found the solo player. seniks sneaks up behind him. Melman's going to say, hey, wait a second. I did all the damage to kick things off with here. It's about time. And then ToWzErA manages to pick off seniks, who was heavily tagged up by Melman. Kills stolen from all sides. This is what happens when you get these kind of open endings with a few, like, mounds in there. You've got the caves you can hide in between. Shelters, that's what I was looking for. For ages.
Shelters, that's what I was looking for.
My brain was like, what word is it? Wake up, it's Monday, but still.
Tell me why I don't like Mondays, man. Tell me why I don't like Mondays, but...
I love a Monday because we don't work a 9-to-5 job, so I don't have to hate it. I'm not going to complain about casting PUBG on a Monday evening.
True, true.
I'd say I didn't have to get up early today, but I flew in today, so I've been up since 3 a.m.
You're like a Duracell battery. You just keep going, man.
Yeah, someone just needs to recharge me every now and again because I forget.
Now, with this phase 7, it kind of more centralized. Jokers and Quickmath, they hold a high ground in the north, overlooking, whereas Unity and Tornado Energy, and again, I've got to compliment Tornado Energy because it goes right back to, I believe, phase 4, phase 5, where they rotated south quickly. They got into the shelter area, and it's really paid off for them. Forward thinking come out from Tornado Energy.
But is forward thinking going to help them take this game? With 4 teams remaining, it's 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. The 8 players left alive. ToWzErA and Encelenso, they want to try and do a deep rotation, and I like this. Before the circle comes in, if we can send ToWzErA down, Encelenso's got to keep himself going up, but ToWzErA's trying to force his way into this battle and maybe be able to sneak up on some of these teams.
I don't think that was a good idea.
Oh, no!
Yep.
And that's the reason why they were trying to brave play, and if Encelenso goes down, then that's Quickmath out in 4th. Moon's on the hunt for it, and we know how deadly he can be. It's been 3 kills already for the Jokers, on top of a top 4 finish. They'd love to guarantee it with a 3rd, as ToWzErA is finished off by Tornado, and they definitely picked up a good amount of kills. Encelenso was waiting, but that's really nice. Really quick there. No finish off, luckily, for the Jokers, so they hold on to 2 players, but this is going to cut away a lot of their time here. Unity can't move out from where they are. They're right across from Tornado. So, in effect, if Jokers play this smart, they're in the best position, because these guys are going to have to move beforehand.
And I really do think Quickmath kind of missed a bit of a good opportunity, right? Because they were one of the first teams to hold that north line. Jokers were actually quite far behind them, and due to Quickmath's kind of passive play and not really being maybe spread out enough, they weren't dominating on that north line ridge on the high ground. They could have easily have pushed the likes of Jokers away, but in the end, it's just gone against them, and maybe that was just a call they thought would work out better for them, but obviously it hasn't.
And the new circle shifted in Unity, and more in it than what Tornado are.
Yep.
Jokers have no problem whatsoever, and they can just keep poking because they've got the highest of the high grounds from all these teams. Tornado need to keep their wits about them here. The last thing they need is one of their players being picked off from the side from the Unity players. Jokers, they can play this so smart. As long as they don't over-peak, they should be fine.
You said it. The key word is not over-peaking, because at the end of the day, they can't spread themselves too thin. They have to stick together, but they also have to find the right angles at the right time. And that mainly comes down to peeking, because you've got 2 members of Uni firing in their direction and 2 members of Tornado Energy. What they've got to do, they've got to wait, hold out, and actually look to see if Tornado Energy and Uni will start taking each other out.
Third partying is going to be key. But who's going to be the one to get the job done?
Brilliant smoke walls being created by Tornado Energy. They held on to all those smoke grenades because they rotated early. They didn't have to use them. They held on to that shelter, which was a smoke wall in itself.
Really nicely done. Can they use it to their advantage, though? Unity, in the meantime, have worked their way forward. Orange still within the shelter, but Innuctive, he's pushed up. He's actually now on the wall line as well. He might be able to surprise Jokers if they didn't spot this out, because they're very busy focusing on the Tornado players. Melman's going to be hit now as well, and this is not ideal. He cannot be taking this blue damage. He needs to get himself hidden back up. Going to jump into the smokes, but some of them are already starting to fade here. Aaliyah and Melman desperately doing everything they can. They've held on to this usage. They've tried to use it to their advantage, but is it going to be enough here?
They've gotten to the little tower.
Orange
can keep them protected.
Orange can see it all, but he's taking some blue damage as well. He's trying to move ever so slowly, one step at a time. But the moment he gets connected by that blue, the damage just is too strong.
And the center of the circle is right in the middle of the road as well. That could go against Jokers, because they've kind of got to go downhill, right? And they don't really have as much protection as I would say Unity have, more than Tornado Energy.
It's a trade-off on all of them, right? They've got one thing that's positive for them and a negative alongside it. Tornado, though, keep getting these smokes out. I want to see how many they've got in total. All nades coming out towards them, but Aaliyah will dodge that one for now. Both Innuctive and Orange have now crept up, and they are proned and ready, but Tab, he's got a good drop on Melman. He finds himself the first knock in there, but he has to be careful from the blue damage himself. Has to work his way down. Moon spraying away, but this is uncharacteristic of him. He misses some key shots, pulls out the DMR, is able to tap up some shots, but he's taking further damage here. They have to be careful, and he does have 3 smokes to use and plenty of meds.
And now he's going to med himself up. Look to make a little bit his way a little bit more forward into the center of the circle. I like it. It's like, take a couple of shots, take a couple of steps, throw a grenade, it's rinse and repeat. Try and just push your way forward, because like I said, the center of the circle is right in the middle of the road as Orange finds Moon. The first knockdown come down at the hands of Jokers. Tornado Energy are eliminated in 3rd place by Orange.
Tab spraying it out there, but it isn't going to be. Orange gets the job done, and Unity take the win with 9 kills. Very solid stuff from Unity. They were out of the first teams, right, from that 3 that was willing to push forward. They did it fast. He got himself that cover, meant that he could be prone down and only poke it when he wanted to. Jokers at the time were focused on Tornado.
True.
Tornado were focused on trying to just move forward throughout the smoke they were planting. They were doing the best they could, and that allowed Unity to have a good chance at this. We spoke about Unity in depth before we went into this, about how bad things have been for him. Well, this was a bloody good game, and you even gave up your military base and went Nova from the beginning. You allowed Northern Lights to have it.
Coming into the start of week 2 in 15th place with 65 points. Not that far behind the likes of Tornado Energy, the likes of Jokers, etc., but you need that strong result, and by God, have they done it. However, once again, I have to give so much credit over to Tornado Energy. That forward-thinking rotation, I think as far as I know, it's phase 4, to get into the center of the circle, occupy those shelters. Yes, they kind of took themselves away from potentially getting kills against ELGIG and YMCA and maybe 3D Max and InsideGames. But when you're thinking of the late game, when you're thinking of, you know, the next couple of phases, it's nice to see Tornado Energy do that. And it paid off for them in the end, finishing in 3rd, but still a good few kills.
Yeah, and this is the thing that was very interesting here. A lot of these teams that made their way through, it came at a cost no matter what because of the rotations, which is why we didn't get one team that was up with like 3 or 4 players the whole way through towards the end. So I think the main thing that we can take away from this is it's a hard rotation anyway, right? It's a difficult circles that we've had from the very beginning, but these teams have managed to keep themselves down. So they're looking really strong at the moment in terms of, okay, we're Unity. We had a rough week last week. Even when we did well and we did better than what we expected, it was still not good enough to get us out of a bad spot. Now we've just had a win here. Can this spur us on for the future?
Well, it has to. It can't come down to like that one win, right? It has to be followed with another game, another good result. It doesn't have to be another chicken dinner, right? It just has to be another strong result, another strong game. I do think that the biggest missed opportunity came out from Quick Math. Like I talked about, they were one of the first teams to go into that north side area of the circle. They came into Military Island late. It was that phase that shifted up north that went in their favour. Like I said, it was phase 4. They could have pushed and really stayed and kept control of that north line, but they let Jokers come in, and Jokers pushed them out.
And Jokers, in the end, still couldn't get it done. And you had two very capable players there.
True.
The moment I saw Moon miss that spray down, I realized, okay, this is a problem. And it's not like that can happen to any player. There's nothing bad against him. But because he usually hits those kind of shots, I was like, okay, you fluffed those. This is going to be a bad time now. Instantly he goes down. TheTab was then on his own. And that's how it all came to be, as we see 19 points in total for Unity. But look, no one else could jump up above them, even with them only having 9 kill points, because so many teams were able to get kills. Look, 8 for ELGIG, 7 for Tempest, 5 for Jokers, 7 for Tornado, and 9 for Unity. Even 5 for Airstation Mike.
Again, Airstation Mike, they always manage to get these kills.
They just sit in top 8 no matter what, right? With Airstation Mike, we're going to be in top 8 or we're going out within the first 2 teams.
Yep.
That's pretty much their story so far.
Yeah, and it's paying off for them right now, but still Tornado Energy and, of course, Unity really coming out with those strong results. As Melman and Orange, top 2 when it comes to damage, nearly 800 for Melman alone.
And Melman, right, he was literally shooting in that open area for so long. This guy pinned himself down and was still willing to take the fight. So he did well to be able to hold on to it for as long as he did. We look at this head-to-head and, okay, hold the screen, don't change anything. Damage, 1337. Okay, I'm taking a picture of this on my phone. I don't give a damn right now. You know what that is, right? Leet, come on. Please, Cormac, please be with me.
That's kill stealing.
No. Leet, 1337 is elite. It's like the elite, the best. It's an old gaming term.
Oh, no.
Oh, never. Man, you used to say this about people, right? You used to be like, if someone was super good, you'd be like, he's 1337. He's like elite. He's the best. That. Okay, if I've blown anyone else's minds in Twitch chat, let me know. I'm really old, aren't I? Like, this is embarrassing.
You really are showing
I got super excited about that. Yeah, I got super excited about that, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Like, outside of the literal thing, I'm like, okay. Like, I know I'm older than you, but honestly, I feel younger right now just because I don't know as much. But still, that was such a good first game. Like, the way that a lot of teams dealt with that military island on that, I know it was very obvious on phase 1, and it was great to see some teams reacting super quickly to it, even though it didn't work out for them. But it was nice to see them attempt to do it straight away, like Team Oops, and then better luck next time. But obviously, it was going to be a tough game.
Well, we're going to go to a break, guys, and we've got 3 more games coming your way. But while the break's going on, maybe educate yourself about 1337, because I'm going to do that to this young man. I'll see you in a little bit.